Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Aladdin's Castle here. It is Fabled. It is a new meta. It is a new season with new decks. And today I wanted to profile a Powerline deck, which is probably one of the most exciting decks I've ever played. Powerline gives you the chance to play songs off the top of your deck for free. And there's some really powerful songs, specifically in this meta that cost really high cost. And he could sing a 9-cost song for free, which is pretty insane, and I kind of want to try different versions of it. We're not going to go with the traditional green-red that is in the starter deck. I will probably maybe update that deck later down the line, but I'm going to give you guys a little spicy like red-purple list that I kind of brewed up a little bit and kind of walk through the play lines if you guys want to play Powerline. So Ruby Amethyst really hasn't seen a lot in the meta. There's been a couple decks that have been topping here or there, the third-party events, and I think it does have a little bit of potential, just depending on the meta, if you play like a heavy evasive list or a heavy damage control list. But this one's going to be a little different with the Powerline cards. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the 1-drops as usual. We are going to go with Rafiki. In this meta, obviously, sometimes you're playing with the board, especially against Amber Steel, so you need your challenger cards. We're going with 4 Rafiki and 4 Royal Guards. And Royal Guard, similar to Rafiki, they both get the challenger effect. Rafiki is challenger +3, and Royal Guard gets challenger +1 for every card draw that you do. So there are a couple cards in here that synergize with Royal Guard that could get them up to 4 strength, and that could take out like daisies and stuff. So it's really there just to go against the aggro matchups, because you're going to see a lot of Amber Steel in this meta, especially the ones that are topping to counter the Blurple decks. On to the 2-cost cards, we do have Powerline. So this is the start of the Powerline shift cards. He's a 2-cost 3/2 singer 4, so you can sing one of your songs in this deck early, and if you pair him up with other colors, you could obviously sing some other powerful 4-cost 3-cost songs as well. But he's there to get ready for the shift line, which happens on turn 4 potentially. Then I am also running a couple action cards. I'm running Hypnotic Strength. There's another great card in the meta right now. You see a lot of purple decks running this. Draw a card. Chosen character gains +2 this turn, so you could really pump up your characters. You could pump up your Rafiki. He becomes a challenger +5, which could take out some really strong cards. But more importantly, he synergizes with Royal Guard. Whenever you draw a card, this character gains challenger +1. And then you add this challenger 2 to it, it becomes a 4 and could take out the daisies and stuff. So super powerful. It's also an action card that you could get back with like Maui and stuff, but it is not a song that you could sing off of Powerline. Next are 2, This Is My Family. The only downside with this color combination with purple, they don't have too many great songs. They lost a lot of good ones like Friends on the Other Side. But This Is My Family, I just wanted to add a couple more songs to keep the high density level of potentially hitting off Powerline. It's a 2-cost uninkable, you gain a lot, draw a card. Sometimes this comes up in certain matchups if you just need that little bit of reach, but it's mostly there to trigger off a Powerline because I needed some extra cards to sing. Next, on to the 3-cost cards. I'm running the new Powerline 3-cost over here. We'll just showcase the epic version of it because it's really nice. Very cool foiling on here. He is a 4/3 that quests for 1. With his ability, if you played a song this turn, this character gains Rush. Not really, you're not really using this as much unless you play a 2-drop Powerline, singing Bee King, and then you're rushing with Powerline on turn 3, which doesn't really happen too much, but you can against the aggro matchups if you're really desperate. But again, it's another target because just like how green-purple is playing Clarabelle and you got to target Clarabelle, against Powerline you got to target the shift line, so if you get rid of the shift line, it's pretty much a dead card. So you want to be able to at least protect your Powerline by having 2 characters that could shift. Then I am also running 2 Aerials. Ariel is a Ruby card that has evasive herself, but her ability says whenever you play a song, chosen character of yours gains evasive until the next turn. You'll see Powerline is not that strong with willpower. He could be taken out by many characters unless you give it evasive. And singing with Powerline, playing Ariel turn 3, shifting Powerline turn 4, almost kind of protects your Powerline because you could give him evasive once you sing a song. So that's pretty nice. You could probably bump this up to 4 if you have the space, but she's also evasive too, which can help deal with other evasive characters. Onto the 4 cost, Genie, still good in this meta, draws a card, quests for 2, and it kind of demands an answer. But again, it's really tricky in this purple meta where everybody's running evasives. But Genie, you need them to get your cards back in your hand. Then I'm running 4 Moanas. This is actually one of my favorite cards in this set. Moana is a character that is a 4/3 and evasive. With the ability, whenever this character challenges another character, another chosen character of yours gains +3 strength. So she could help trade your other characters that are kind of lower in strength and kind of help take out the board. So if you are on the draw and you need ways to catch up the tempo, sometimes this stops a lot of your opponent's genies from questing because she could just take that out, and then you could give your other opponent, or give another one of your characters +3 strength. So it kind of is a card that prevents your opponent from going super aggro. And against aggro decks, this is also not bad. You play Moana and then maybe like an Elsa on turn 5, and you're just giving your Elsa also 5 strength, which can take out a Maui Shark. Take out a lot of 5 health characters, takes out Dagon Silver, all the good stuff. So Moana has some really cool plays, and her being evasive, again, in this meta, I like her a lot. Then, of course, the card that everybody needs and loves in this meta is Dumbo. Unfortunately, I don't have 4 Dumbos, otherwise I'd be playing that in this deck. But I would at least be able to play 2 in here. You do run a good amount of evasives in this deck, so if you did not want to go for the power line, you could also go for the evasive line with Dumbos and just kind of gaining your resources back. But Dumbo, there's a reason why this card is $75. It just is so much advantage with being able to use its ability. And you need to answer Dumbo in this meta. So what's a Dumbo answering a Dumbo? You got to do it. And a couple songs in Ruby. It's not the best, but it can come up in certain situations. If you're able to clear the board, Bee King is one of those really strong cards that could take advantage if your opponent doesn't have a wide board. Each opponent chooses to manage one of the characters. Sometimes your opponent won't have big bodies or a wide board, so they just have big bodies in the field. And then if you're able to trade certain cards with like your Moana and get rid of the board, then you play a Bee King. It's not bad. You can get rid of their best characters. So unfortunately, your opponent does have to choose, but maybe they might have a ward character, and that's one of your few ways to get rid of the ward. Moving on to 5 costs here, Elsa. She's just too good not to run. She's one of the strongest cards in purple. Rush evasive, very strong. And again, like I said, you play Moana on turn 4, then you play Elsa, exert something, challenge with Moana, give Elsa +5 strength. It's just a really cool combo that you could do to kind of win back the tempo. And she's really strong for a reason. I don't run bells. I just couldn't find the space, and not all my characters have high willpower in order for me to transfer damage. So I opted not to play the bell line, but Bell Accomplished Mystic is still one of the strongest purple cards as well, just for tempo. But I'm going to go ahead with the shift line here, Powerline. This is one of the newest cards of the set, and the one that's pretty much hyped since the beginning because of the potential that it could do. It could shift on turn 4, so you play your 2-drop and 3-drop, shift on turn 4, and it's a singer 9. And once per turn, whenever this character sings a song, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, you may reveal a song card with a cost 9 or less and play it for free, and put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So you literally sing with Powerline after you're shifting. Then you look at the top 4, and then you can play another song for free, basically, which is the dream. So you want to load up your deck with a lot of songs, maybe 16 to 20 is a good ratio, and so that you're able to hit off the top of your deck, and you can sing some strong cards. And in Ruby, they don't have the best, but they have stuff like Bee King, they have stuff like Pirate's Life, and depending on what you're playing against with a second color, it all depends. Purple has like okay cards, but not the best. But obviously green pairs up well because it's in the star deck, so you have more options. But this deck in itself has a couple options with purple, and you'll see that in a little bit. Obviously the best line is to have Powerline and Maui Shark out on the field at the same time. It doesn't really happen too often because there's a lot of single target removal in this set, a lot of bounce cards, but if you're able to establish Maui Shark and Powerline on the field at the same time, you're just gonna make your opponent kind of sweat a little bit because they have to get rid of Shark and Powerline, and sometimes they can't do that. So Shark just gets back to actions from your discard pile, and I know a lot of people aren't running Ruby right now, but they still got to put respect on Shark because it has the evasive, has the ability to bring back cards from your discard pile, and it's just a strong body that also demands answers. And then rounding off, last couple cards here, we have the Singing Pirate's Life, reprinted, coming back in the set. Each opponent loses 2 lore, you gain 2 lore. Such a strong tempo play too if you are going against aggro. Sing with Powerline, sing with Maui Shark, and then you're just gaining so much advantage. And it could kind of win those incremental advantages when you're playing like a mirror match or an aggro deck. Then the other the two songs that I also run is Nothing We Won't Do. This is a very special tech card. It's a Sing Together 8. You ready all your characters, and for the rest of the turn, they take no damage from challenges. I like this card because it could be a little spicy again on the draw. If you have cards like Moana, Moana gets your other characters +3 strength, and then if you run this, you sing this with Powerline, and then you ready all your characters, then you could kind of challenge the board because they take no damage. So Moana's challenging for 4, then you give your other character +3 strength, and you're like a Powerline, and then your other characters, you could kind of wipe the board like that. So I like this card. It has a little bit of niche, very specific effects, and it could also protect your Powerline too as well. But the ability to kind of come back on the draw, which is super important in this game, is pretty much thanks to certain cards like Nothing We Won't Do. So it's very, very specific, but it could really help you in certain situations. Then the big 9-cost song is Eye to Eye, one of the featured songs from this set. Sing Together 9, so you can sing together with Powerline. It just naturally works like that. Each player draws 2 cards and gains 2 lore, and then if more than 2 characters sang the song, you can ready them. They can't quest for the rest of the turn, so you can just ready Powerline, and you can kind of gain effects through that. Yes, you're giving your opponent 2 lore, but at the same time, you still run Pirate's Life, and this could be a tempo swing with Powerline just being able to play songs for free. And then the last song we play in this deck is Second Star to the Right. You can't sing this with Powerline, but you for free, I should say, but you could sing it with Powerline and a 1-drop. So if you shift on turn 4 and you sing with Powerline and a 1-drop, you could draw 5. And this card, you could have an argument for running 2 of this, but card advantage is so important in this meta. And not too many people are running discard, and like Bend to My Will is out there too as well, but being able to draw 5 on turn 4 is just nuts, and you could definitely do that. So if you wanted to bump up Second Star to the Right to 2 or even 3 to be really, really gambly, you could do that. But that is pretty much the Ruby Amethyst Powerline deck. It's not super competitive, but it's definitely a lot of fun. I think a lot of the Powerline decks are like tier 2 decks that could really be worked on, or even like tier 2.5. But it takes a meta to kind of break Powerline, I think he's probably a lot more dangerous in Infinity, which you can kind of abuse like certain powerful cards, a lot more songs. But I think this is something to keep an eye on. If you're playing at the local level, I think it's definitely fine. You could probably win a lot of games with just this and throwing people off. But in competitive level, maybe it's not there yet. But I'm really determined to kind of keep an eye on this guy and see if we can make him work. But if you guys are trying out Powerline in this set, let me know which color combinations you tried. I'm sure there's a color combo for every Powerline, and which ones you're liking. And it's just different playstyle, different songs. But I really, really enjoy AGoofyMovie. I'm obviously a big fan of Goofy and Powerline combinations, so I'm really happy that they finally got their well-deserved release this set, and I'm excited to see you guys brew Powerline as well in the future. So let me know what you guys think. Comment on the section if you guys are playing Powerline, and we'll see you guys in the next video.